Welcome to Radio Express World News, presented by Vibha Ramesh, Los Angeles, United States. It's over a month now that the United States federal stimulus package expired and the bipartisan agreement on an extension is still on deadlock. Moreover, the proposal of a scaled-back relief aid made by the Republicans failed to make any headway. The Democrats opposed the proposal as being inadequate. And with another measure not on the anvil, the pandemic's impact just got severe. Meanwhile, a new study revealed that young adults are just as vulnerable to COVID-19 as older people. According to the study, nearly 10% of young adults infected with the virus needed a ventilator for assisted breathing, while 2.7% of them succumbed to the virus. The research stated that social distancing, facial coverings, and other approaches to prevent transmission are as important in young adults as in older people. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced that starting Monday, the federal government will pause the screening of international travelers for the virus in 15 airports across the nation. Instead, the resources would be deployed for other purposes, including potential testing and health education during and after flights. A joint representation by several infectious, epidemiological, and health policy experts voiced their fears about Dr. Scott Atlas, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force. They wrote in a statement, "Many of his opinions and statements run counter to established science and by doing so undermine public health authorities and the credible science that guides effective public health policy." The hearing on the Julian Assange case was unexpectedly halted on Thursday following news that a member of the prosecution may have contracted the virus. In effect, the hearing has been postponed to at least Monday, depending on the test result of the lawyer. A brief look at the global death toll. According to latest statistics, the global toll of fatalities has surpassed 900,000 and the summated number of infections stands at 27.8 million. That said, if testing cannot be wholly depended upon, the toll could be actually higher. Topping the list is the United States with 196,069 deaths, followed by Brazil with 128,857 and India with 76,304 deaths since the pandemic. Moving on, after several months of border face-off between India and China, the two nations finally came to consensus on a 5-point plan for resolving the dispute. The points in consideration included abiding by agreements and protocols on frontier management, maintaining peace and tranquility, and avoiding actions that could escalate matters. On Thursday, the temple doors of Guruvayur in Thrissur opened for devotees to have darshan. A maximum of 1,000 people will be allowed inside the premises each day. Yesterday also marked the highest COVID-19 related single-day deaths at 1,169. Like some other parts of the world, the reopening of schools in Spain has been fairly encouraging, especially in the light of the pandemic. Isabel Sila, the education minister, commended the management and staff of schools for their tireless efforts. She also said that only 53 COVID-19 related incidents were recorded across 28,600 schools that reopened in phases. In her words, the alternative to no schooling is exclusion, lack of progress, and social and economic development. Moving on, international flights will now resume in the Chinese city of Wuhan, where the virus first originated. According to a statement reported on Thursday by the country's local media, the first international flight is expected to take off on September 16th, flying from Wuhan to Seoul. Further, several carriers are seeking permission to resume direct flights between Wuhan and other major cities. Over to Scotland, the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has imposed a limitation on gatherings in the country amid alerts of resurgence. The restriction will apply to both indoor and outdoor gatherings. In effect, gatherings in houses, pubs and restaurants and all outdoor spaces, including private gardens, cannot exceed 6 from 2 households. She went on to state that the measure has been issued with a hope to curtail transmission of the virus to the maximum extent possible. The mandate came soon after Britain's Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, issued a ban on group meetings of more than 6 people from up to 6 households in England. Meanwhile, in Germany, an emergency drill was conducted wherein several thousand sirens went off across the country. This was an intended nationwide test designed to prepare its people to effectively address a catastrophe as well as to test the readiness of the emergency services. The alarm sounded off at 11 a.m. and the all clear was given after 20 minutes. In order to execute the drill efficiently, schools, care centers and shelters were informed in advance, as also to ensure that the sudden high-pitched alarms did not scare older people or refugees. Countries in Central Europe are battling a second wave of the coronavirus as the number of infections continues to be on the rise. To that end, the Czech Republic surpassed the 1,000 mark in single-day infections, while Hungary has closed its borders for all of September in order to combat the rapid spread of the virus. The spike has prompted authorities to tighten the restrictions and reimpose mask wearing. Tuesday saw a record of 1,164 new infections in the nation. One of the other reasons for the increased record has been attributed to the increased testing. Today's bulletin ends with a report on France. The country is in the midst of a resurgence with a record of 9,843 cases in the past 24 hours. Hospitalizations too have gone up with nearly 5,096 patients being treated for the virus. With that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next program on Radio Express. To receive Radio Express English news and English programs in your WhatsApp, please send a WhatsApp message, English programs, to 90727 95547. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Radio Express. Thank you.